Good evening and welcome to High School Wrestling on Community Cable Network. We're here at Warrior Run High School for tonight's exciting dual meet action between the defenders of Warrior Run High School and the Green Dragons of Lewisburg High School. Warrior Run comes into this bout undefeated with a record of 4 wins and no losses. Lewisburg 0-3 on the season. This is the first match for both teams in the Central Susquehanna Conference. I'm Bob Uner along with Jeff Procetta. Jeff, could be a good bout here tonight. Lewisburg on paper down a little bit over last year with that great team. Warrior Run coming back with a lot of veterans, and people think they're the team to beat in the Central Susquehanna Conference.
And without a doubt, they will be the team to beat in the conference this year. Lewisburg, obviously under first-year coach Greg Amon, does have some strong points. In speaking with both coaches before the match this evening, they look at 119 for the bout between Strassner of Warrior Run and Rashu of Lewisburg. That should be a pretty good bout. At 130 also should be a good bout. But the Warrior Run defenders with 3 returning state qualifiers certainly in the driving seat.
That's right. I think
this year
we're going to see 3 outstanding wrestlers for Warrior Run. That'll be Jason Betts, the defending state champion, Craig Netchie, a regional champion who was injured, didn't make it to states, but an outstanding wrestler. And at the upper middle weights, it'll be Joey Hill, also a state qualifier. So the trouble for the Green Dragons is all their state qualifiers from last year, and they had several outstanding ones. They graduated. Warrior Runs, they're still around for another season of wrestling. So we'll be back with the action starting tonight here at Warrior Run High School after these announcements.
These are the legends.
The question, yes, the question.
The lovers. The voyagers. These are the dreamers, the seekers, and the storytellers. This is the passion and the power. This is the best time for you to get it all. So call now for HBO, because it could only happen here. HBO, what a year it's going to be.
Come to the Watson Inn in downtown Watsontown for a truly wonderful dining experience. The Watson Inn is a full-service hotel open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The large menu features steaks and seafood. Relax with friends at the Watson Inn at their full-service bar, open daily at 11 a.m. Having a banquet? The Watson Inn has a beautiful banquet facility for groups as large as 180 people. Plus, the hotel features 32 comfortable guest rooms. Experience the Watson Inn today, located at 100 Main Street, Watsontown.
Born of intelligent engineering. It's responsive, innovative, refined. It's a driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes. Introducing the all-new 88 Royale LS. Oldsmobile. The power of intelligent engineering.
Check out our wide selection of Oldsmobiles here at Hawkins Chevrolet, where friends meet friends.
Moving the action to 112 pounds after that forfeit at 103 pounds for Warrior Run, the defending state champion, Jason Betts, a sophomore. He'll be wrestling Lewisburg's Bill Smith, also a sophomore.
Betts very quickly in on the takedown, picking up 2 points here in the going right to a pinning combination. As Bill Smith in a headlock and go out of bounds, really going here in the first period at 112. As they continue back in the center of the mat is Jason Betts in control here. 2-0 early in the going to the second period over Bill Smith of the Lewisburg Dragons. Come back to the center of the mat. Betts, one of Warrior Run's top performers.
Jeff, already this year, he's taken a first place in the Bald Eagle Nittany Christmas tournament. A real seasoned fellow, although a sophomore. Great experience last year winning the state championship, and he's really right off to a good start here tonight.
Smith on the whistle attempting a stand-up, but Betts countering well with a tight waist and has Smith back down to the mat. Now Betts working tight waist, chicken wing on the one side, shoots the half on the left, driving forward. It's Betts working a pinning combination. Smith in trouble here. Betts working for a pin. First period action, there's the fall.
And that pin at 1 minute and 5 seconds of the first period for Warrior Run's Jason Betts, remaining undefeated on this dual meet and tournament season so far. That pushes that Warrior Run lead to 12-0 as they gained a forfeit at 103 pounds. And here a first period fall from their champion Jason Betts as we moved 119 pounds for what I think will be a very good bout for Lewisburg. Chris Roush, a senior, going against Warrior Run's Terry Strassner, a sophomore.
Okay, Strassner in the blue, head to elbow tie-up. Chris Roush, a senior for the Dragons. No points here in the first period at 119. Terry Strassner for the Warriors, in deep on a single. Nice counter by Roush. Terry Strassner tries to roll it through, no control yet. Very nice counter to a counter by Strassner of Warrior Run. Chris Roush in the green is losing control. Strassner, only a sophomore, trying to come up on top. We're still neutral with 2-point takedown for Strassner. Immediately Strassner reaches up, attempts to put on a inside cradle. Roush able to stand up and move to the out of bounds here in the early going at 119. It'll be Chris Roush of Lewisburg in a down position and down by a bout score of 2-0 here at 119. On the whistle, ankle pickup by Strassner. Let's go the ankle, stand by Roush, turn in. Strassner reaches through, inside leg. It's Roush working a cross-face counter. Strassner in control, though, has not given up any control. Now it's Roush working a quarter Nelson, and official indicating neither wrestler able to better their position, calling a stalemate. 52 seconds remaining in 119, first period bout. Stand by Roush, turn in, going to pick up a 1-point escape, and does. Goes to a headlock immediately as Roush. No control, and it is Strassner with a bear hug, pulls him back into the circle for a 2-point takedown. Bout score 4-1.
I think that move shows that Terry Strassner, a very strong wrestler for Warrior Run. Chris Roush for Lewisburg, a veteran, but so far in this early going, Strassner has the better of him.
Stand and turn in by Strassner, but not able to get an escape. Prior to the match this evening, it was Coach Smythe that told me that this young sophomore, Strassner, is really working well with Jason Betts, really one of the stars there at Warrior Run. Tight waist on the near side is Strassner. Out in front here by a score of 4-2 at 119. 4-1.
And that'll wrap up the first period. Very strong period for Warrior Run's Terry Strassner. And he defers his choice of positions in the second period, and that means Chris Roush has his choice, and they take the standing neutral position, which is interesting because Strassner has 2 takedowns in the first period and immediately goes in on a single leg.
Sure does. It's Roush with a counter, though, trying to work a whizzer there, and a quarter Nelson series, no control. Strassner was in deep, but not able to pick up a takedown. Second period at 119. Head and elbow tie-up by both wrestlers. Down on one knee is Strassner, working the head, trying to lift and drop to a single, but Roush just hips back, rolls away from it. Roush has Strassner's head on the mat, but they spin and go out of bounds here in the second period at 119. Roush is a senior for Lewisburg. Strassner is the aggressor here, going in deep on a single with the head on the inside, but it's Chris Roush countering with a whizzer. Now Strassner steps through. Chris Roush still using that whizzer hard, looking into it. Now he looks away, hip tight. Strasser reaches up, trying to step out of that, and is going to walk around, going to pick up at least 2-point takedown, and is going to settle for that. Working into a pinning combination, but not able to pick up anything. Strasser on top, out in front by a bout score of 6-1. He's riding from the opposite side, working a 1-on-1 underneath, sticks the legs in, and they go out of bounds with just 33 seconds remaining at 1:19.
Jeff, I don't think that choice by Roush to start the second period in the neutral position was a wise one, and it proved not to be, as Strasser gets his third takedown of the match with 33 seconds to go in the second period.
Roush seems to be a counter wrestler, and maybe that's why he chose the way he did, but obviously Strasser very strong, tries to step in, and as he does, is put himself in trouble and going to give up a 2-point reversal here. As Chris Roush for the Dragons trying to come up. He's in the sitting position. Now it's Strasser going to pick up a 2-point reversal. And there's the 2 points. A lot of points scored here already. 8-3 in the second period. With Terry Strasser of Warrior Run in front of Chris Roush for the Dragons.
As we go to the third period, it's Strasser's turn to indicate his position. He takes the defensive or bottom position as Ben Shipman, the referee, signals Lewisburg's Chris Roush to get on top.
Strasser on the whistle goes to a short sit position and tries to back up. Roush trying to step in with the legs and does. Has a grapevine on, working ahead. Standing up is Strasser trying to shake him loose. Official watching. Roush working with the legs. Roush over real far now. Strasser reaches up, take the inside elbow. Chris Roush with his hips tight though, able to keep Strasser flat on the mat. Nice move by the senior. Chris Strasser, only a sophomore. Strasser now goes to a short sit position. It's Roush in control here in the third period, but down in the bout. He's going to have to go for back points as they go out of bounds. Riding Strasser out is not going to be good enough, Bob.
He's going to have to get those near fall points. And when we last saw Lewisburg wrestle, Chris Roush was very good from the top position and very aggressive toward pinning combination. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't go to this earlier in the match, but he's now trailing by 5 points with 1:10 to go in the third period.
Roush on top here in the third period, working a 1-on-1 underneath and now working a bar arm on the left arm. Short sit position by Strasser. Turn real quick. Nice move. Roush right with him though. Now Roush is working on a pinning combination. Driving hard on a half. Roush a little bit high. Is too anxious for the pin. Strasser able to come up to his knees. Now Roush is trying to work on an inside cradle. He's trying to lock up a cradle on Strasser. The cradle's locked. We're going to see back points. Chris Roush for the Dragons working a pinning combination, but Strasser's shoulders are parallel and is going to pick up a 3-point near fall for Roush, but a 2-point reversal for Strasser, and now a 1-point escape for Roush.
I think they're just going to indicate that that was not a reversal, just an escape for Terry Strasser from Warrior Run, making it 9-6, but Strasser in on look for a takedown in the final 3 seconds.
Strasser coming up again. There's no control near the edge, and that's the way the bout will end at 119.
And that final score at 119 pounds, Warrior Run's Terry Strasser 9, Lewisburg's Chris Roush 6. A real exciting bout, but a decision for the Warrior Run defenders, pushing their team score lead now to 15-0 as we move to 125 pounds for Warrior Run out on the mat. Coming out on the mat now will be Casey McGargle, a sophomore for Lewisburg, Chad Taylor, a junior.
Okay, Taylor for the Dragons is going to try and break the ice, and it's freshman Casey McGargle that's in deep on a half. Chad Taylor for Lewisburg does pick up a 2-point takedown, actually on McGargle's aggressiveness. Chad Taylor riding on top now, puts the legs in for Lewisburg, and they go out of bounds with 1:40 remaining in the first period here at 1:25. Team score, Warrior Run 15, Lewisburg 0.
Jeff, although the Green Dragons are 0-3 in dual meets, one of their strengths as individuals and even a team tendency is they're good riders from the top position. And we'll see how well Chad Taylor does against a very aggressive, very active sophomore, Casey McGargle for Warrior Run.
in the first 30 seconds of this period, it's been Chad Taylor all the way. He's got a takedown, has been able to ride McGargle out thus far. McGargle tries to sit, turn in. Going to catch Taylor a little bit high, but he's still maintaining control. Taylor is very aggressive, shooting for a pin. Has McGargle in trouble. It's Chad Taylor for the Dragons going to pick up some back points here in the first period with just 1 minute remaining. Chad Taylor for the Dragons seeking to break the ice here. Casey McGargle, a freshman, trying to tough it out and does come out, but not before giving up a 3-point near fall to the junior. And it's McGargle in trouble again, Chad Taylor going from one pinning combination to another. Chad Taylor for the Dragons working for the pin here. McGargle for the Warriors in trouble. Drawing back. Taylor trying to get that shoulder down and not able to get him to the mat, but goes right to another pinning combination. McGargle able to come back to his base on his knees, short sit, tries a head roll, turn in. It'll be Casey McGargle picking up a 1-point escape with just 15 seconds remaining. We're neutral, but it's Chad Taylor all the way here so far at 125. Taylor, we have a 2-point takedown by Chad Taylor.
So that's going to make that team score, that bout score at 125 pounds. Chad Taylor from Lewisburg is leading 10-1 as we move to period number 2. And in this particular match, Lewisburg's Taylor does have his choice. He's going to take top here. I think this shows he had 2 near fall pinning combinations in the first period. He's going to go right after it again here as we start period number 2.
It's going to take a big effort here by Casey McGargle to get this comeback. He's down 9 already. That's in a 4-point decision range already.
Yep.
Sit out, turn in by McGargle. Chad Taylor working ahead, and they spin out of bounds at 125.
Certainly no quit in Casey McGargle, as although he's not scoring points, he's really moving around, very aggressive, looking for the escape or reversal. So he's a young fella and going to get some good experience against Chad Taylor.
Stand up, turn in by McGargle, the Warriors. But Taylor working ahead. Power half, he's getting a little bit sloppy there, but McGargle with a short sit. Now is Chad Taylor working another pinning combination, but he's very high. Not able to carry that combination through. Chad Taylor with a crossbody ride. McGargle up on his base. Chad Taylor sits through on it and has McGargle in trouble again. Scissors on the body, working the half on the head. 120 remaining. Taylor for the Dragons. Working for that pin. McGargle able to belly down and stay out of trouble, but not before another 3-point near fall for Chad Taylor.
Taylor's really going after the head of McGargle, trying to really control it, and that's what's forced the near fall pinning combinations that Taylor's gotten over McGargle. And there he goes again, reaching up with half Nelsons, always looking for some way to turn over Casey McGargle.
Taylor now's at his hips in. What he's not been able to do so far is flatten McGargle out, or actually McGargle's been able to keep his base. That's what saved him so far, the young freshman for Coach Wayne Smythe. Chad Taylor for the Warriors, or for the Dragons, going from one pinning combination to another. Sit through by McGargle, but Chad Taylor right with it. Chad Taylor, a junior, working another pinning combination. Crossbody and a half.
And that's going to be a 3-point near
fall, and that will end the match.
And that will make it 16-1, which is a technical fall in favor of Lewisburg's Chad Taylor at 1 minute and 42 seconds of the second period. So Lewisburg gets on the scoreboard with some team points after being down 15-0 as Chad Taylor scores some points for them. Team score will be Warrior Run 15 and Lewisburg 5 as we move to 130 pounds. For the Warrior Run defenders out there, Todd Miller, a junior, against the junior for the Green Dragons, Steve Brown.
Miller in very quick, picks up a 2-point takedown. And quick on a double, picked it up, brought him to the mat. But Steve Brown able to stand up as they go out of bounds. 2-0 lead here for Miller, a junior. This is another one of those bouts, I think, that could be real close.
Two fairly evenly matched young wrestlers here, both juniors.
On the whistle, stand up by Steve Brown. Miller able to bring him right back to the mat. Both boys seem to showing a little bit of strength here. I'm not sure that this will be the end of the scoring.
Now, on that particular point, referee Ben Chipman cautioned Steve Brown for improperly lining up his knees and his hands and gave him a caution. If he does something, another violation, that will be a team point or an individual point awarded to Miller, as Miller is on top.
Okay, Miller trying to maintain control as Steve Brown's able to sit out, turn in, and Miller's just able to keep control, just able to maintain that control. Official indicating back to the center of the mat.
And I think this Lewisburg wrestler, Steve Brown, looks like a headhunter looking to pull that head down and come around, as we're going to have some injury time here for Steve Brown. Oh, no, it's a headgear problem, it looks like. They're going to tape the headgear. Coach Wayne Smythe, 21 years as a head coach with his assistant Randy Watts, adjusting the headgear of their wrestler Todd Miller.
Well, Steve Brown, a junior for Lewisburg, while the team has not had a whole lot of success so far, it's been Steve Brown and a couple of the other young wrestlers for Coach Amon that has been the point getters. They're putting consistently either putting points on the board or keeping Lewisburg in the match, and it's real close here at 1:30. There's only a takedown been scored so far. On the whistle, sit turn in by Steve Brown, but a near ankle pickup by Miller. Miller working, getting Brown flat. Brown back up to his base, into a standing position, trying to turn in and switch. But Miller, real tight waist, nice control by the Warrior Run wrestler.
These Warrior Run wrestlers seem to be doing a nice job in every match where they've been in control of riding out the Lewisburg wrestler with some good riding and looking for pinning combinations off of those.
Miller with that ankle pick, and Brown just waiting for him to reach down and reaches back, and it hits the switch to pick up an escape. Not able to go through the reverse, but able to turn and pick up a one-point escape. But it's Miller of Warrior Run in very deep, but he's low on the ankle, and Brown's able to reach back, pick up an ankle. Brown for Lewisburg very near a control situation, but as you can see, Miller has that ankle and is going to prevent Steve Brown from picking up control. So they'll go back to a neutral position here. Head tie up by Brown. Snap down, spin around, two-point takedown for Steve Brown. Switch by Miller, but Brown able to strap both legs. Todd Miller for the Warrior Run Warriors, flat down in this bout by a score of 3-2.
One of the strong points of the Lewisburg team is good riding, and Brown has been trying. He's going to have difficulty and get reversed. So right at the buzzer. So just as we said he was a good rider, he proves us wrong, gets reversed in the final few seconds. So Todd Miller is going to have a 4-3 lead over Lewisburg's Steve Brown as we head to period number 2 at 130 pounds. Brown will be in the bottom defensive position as he gets set. Now, he's already had a caution as Todd Miller for Warrior Run Defenders gets on top.
It's Miller to the ankle immediately on the whistle, and Brown attempting that stand-up switch again. Miller able to bring him back. Now pulls him back through as trying to switch by Steve Brown, trying to step through. Steve Brown's going to pick up a reversal to go out in front here in the second period. Steve Brown for the Dragons, working hard on the mat.
We've had several lead changes. This match has gone back and forth between these two pretty evenly matched wrestlers.
Steve Brown, we saw him wrestle one other time this year. He ended up getting pinned in that match because he was so aggressive. Lost by a fall against, I think it was Montoursville. Brown very aggressive, working for the pin, and consequently getting a little bit high, and that's just what happens here. Gets too high and going to give up a reversal.
So that's a 6-5 advantage to Warrior Run as the lead changes one more time with 1 minute to go in the second period.
I have the feeling we haven't seen the end of the points yet as they near the out of bounds with just 55 seconds remaining in the second period here at 1:30.
So we've gone halfway through this individual bout, and we've had a 6-5 margin. Lots of scoring, lots of lead changes. As we're going to take a little break as the defender's Todd Miller has to tie his shoelaces, and Brown will be down for Lewisburg in the defensive position. And if form holds true, we'll look for some type of a stand-up or a switch move from Brown.
Okay, on the whistle, not much of a stand-up, but he did turn in, but he turned right into an inside cradle. Todd Miller for the Warriors, working an inside cradle, sits through, still driving that cradle. Gonna have to get his head in the side if it's gonna work. Steve Brown able to come up to a standing base near the out of bounds. It's Miller, though, still has that cradle locked on.
And the best thing Steve Brown could do is what happened. He got out of bounds because that cradle was locked up, and had Miller been able to pull him back toward the center, near fall points could have been accomplished.
Brown's energy level seems to have dropped off a little bit here. He's not standing on that whistle, turning right into a cradle combination. Miller working that cradle, head in the side. He's going to have to sit to go out of bounds again. Official's going to watch that. Obviously, Steve Brown's trying to work out of a pinning combination, but the wrestlers must be moving to the center of the mat. The wrestlers must be working to improve their position.
And if he goes out of bounds, of course, intentionally, then the other wrestler will be awarded a point.
Okay, Brown able to stand up completely this time, but Miller right up behind him, picking up the leg and bringing him back to the mat. Miller reaching for a far side cradle, and they go out of bounds once again with 9 seconds remaining here in the second period at 1:30. Todd Miller, a junior, take the top position on the whistle, stand up, tries to peel the hands by Brown, turn in, 1 point escape by Steve Brown of the Dragons. In deep, though, is Miller, but time runs out here in the second period.
So we're going to move to period number 3 with this score all tied up at 6 apiece. And the Warrior runs, Todd Miller has his choice. He's going to take the bottom defensive position. And he gets set for referee Ben Shipman. Now Shipman sets him, and now on comes Steve Brown.
On the whistle, it's Todd Miller that does a short sit back into Brown. Brown comes into a little crab ride here, but Miller's working the wrist underneath, trying to control the hands, and as he does that, he's going to come back to his base. Quickly, Brown tries to put in the legs. Miller rolls through on the legs, trying to counter that. Miller riding with his hip pretty tight here. Miller in the down position here. And now it's Steve Brown trying to work a half-hearted cradle attempt there. 1:20 remaining. The bout is tied here in the third period. Which wrestler wants to win this? We have yet to see a bout this year so far, Bob, where we had to go to the criteria of a tie after regulation.
We almost saw one last week when Lewisburg was wrestling Jersey Shore, but a Lewisburg wrestler, Eric Kerner, got his reversal at the buzzer to prevent that, but it's tied 6-6. We're under a minute to go in the final period as they go out of bounds. Steve Brown able to ride Todd Miller for 1 minute and 5 seconds here in the third period, trying to get the hip control, and I think Coach Wayne Smythe for Warrior Run wants his wrestler, Todd Miller, to stand up and get up off the mat.
Okay, it'll be Brown on the whistle in control here, but needing points, he's going to have to work on a pinning combination. Miller, I think, has the advantage because he can get up and get an escape and go ahead, and he stands and he's going to turn. That's just what he does. But there's a lot of time left here, 40 seconds, and very quickly as Miller on a single leg picks it up, Miller trips forward and going to pick up no control shown here.
Not yet.
No control. There it is, a 2-point takedown for the Dragons. Steve Brown goes out in front here by a 1-point margin with 19 seconds remaining, and we're going to have a stalling call against Steve Brown for not moving up. He must move up.
He also was just grabbing the left ankle and lifting it up of Todd Miller and just holding onto that ankle from the back, and that's a stalling move. 19
seconds, stand up, turn in by Miller. Steve Brown trying to hold on to a slim 1-point margin here. Now slips in a half, but Miller bellies down, peels that hand off the head. Nice move to stay out of trouble. but I think it's a little bit late here as Steve Brown holding on here for a 1-point edge at the buzzer.
And just as we thought it would be, Jeff, it's an exciting bout as Steve Brown, an 8-7 win for his Lewisburg Green Dragons at 130 pounds over the Warrior Run defenders, Todd Miller. It's going to make the team score 15-8. Now, Lewisburg traditionally is strong in the lightweights and have been able to do well, and so 15-8 against a very good team from Warrior Run. As we move to 135 pounds, Craig Nitchie for the defenders and Mark Eveleth for Lewisburg's Green Dragons.
Nitchie, another one of those talented performers for Coach Smythe. We're here at 135.
Nitchie was the defending or the regional champion last year and then suffered an injury to his...
Okay, fireman's carry by Nitchie and immediately to a pinning combination. Beautiful fireman's carry. We have a 2-point takedown. We're going to pick up some back points with 1:30 remaining. A 3-point near fall move by the senior, Craig Nitchie.
And he Nitchie just wrestled and lost to the defending state champion, Biff Walliser of Bald Eagle Nittany at the Bald Eagle Nittany Christmas tournament. And he did finish second, but a real talented performer. Didn't go to states because of that injury, but I think we'll see him at Hershey this year.
Okay, Nitchie working the head and going to spin, try to come around behind. Trying to set up a cradle, but Lavalith able to fight that off, and he's going to turn right into a pancake almost, but now it's Nitchie that comes around, spins around for a 2-point takedown. Bout score 7-1 here in the first period at 135. Nitchie puts the legs in, trying to work crossbody ride in, reaches up for the arm, working a pinning combination. Hips are low, coming across the head. Nitchie working that combination. If he can reach and take that elbow, Lavalith in trouble here for the Dragons. Craig Nitchie, a senior, working on a pin, will pick up back points. Now reached across, has the elbow and locked.
And Ben Shipman looking very close at that. He's down there looking at the shoulders of Mark Eveleth for Lewisburg.
Nitchie driving for the pin here with just 17 seconds remaining. Hips a little high. Nice control by Nitchie. Still working that far elbow. Mark Lavalith able to keep his shoulders off the mat and stay away from that pin, but not without a 3-point near fall here to close out the first period.
So that first period score, Craig Nitchie is going to be ahead 10-1 and he has his choice, and he's going to defer to, Mark Eveleth had his choice. He's going to defer to Craig Nitchie, and let's see what he does. Nitchie's going to be in the top position as we start period number 2. He's got a 9-point lead.
Nitchie with a tight waist, near arm. Tries to chop it down immediately, but Eveleth able to stand. Nitchie working the crossbody ride again. Try to go to a can opener. Trying to mark Eveleth, trying to turn in and stay out of trouble, but not before a 2-point near fall is picked up there. 12-1.
Good hip control by the defender's Nitchie. He's really staying in solid, and that's what's just dominating and controlling this match.
Nitchie very strong. That's evident. Works a Navy ride and then sticks to the head. Went right down for a pinning combination. Nice move by the senior. He again has Mark Eveleth in trouble of the Dragons. Craig Nitchie going to pick up more back points here. We're still in the same pinning combination. Now he gives it up for a 3-point near fall. 15-1. We're near a technical fall level here in the bout in the second period. Nitchie again goes right to the back, right to a pinning combination.
One more set of back points ought to do it, and the referee's counting now, so we're under 50 seconds in the second period.
His senior, Craig Nitchie, on his way here to a technical fall in the second period. Mark Eveleth trying to stay off his back, but he's going to have to do more than that. Nitchie, of the Warrior Run defenders, working on that fall or a technical fall.
As long as there's a pinning combination, the referee will continue to allow it to see if Nitchie can get the pin. If he can, if the combination is broken, the match will be over as a technical fall. The difference is 1 team point.
Nitchie able to step across now, pick up, trying to arch in, hips are low. Craig Nitchie, as time runs down here with 5 seconds, driving for that pin. And the second period will end with Nitsche up by an 18-1 score.
And that's going to mean another technical fall. The second one of the bout. This time it's Warrior Run's Craig Nitsche with the technical fall. 5 team points go to the defenders, making that team score 20 for Warrior Run, 8 for Lewisburg as we move to 140 pounds. For the defenders, here comes Andy Gemberling out on the mat. He's a junior, and he'll be facing Lewisburg's John Sheasley, who is a sophomore.
Hey, Sheasley, a sophomore for the Dragons. And it's Andy Gimberly, a junior. Coach Smythe indicating one of his nice young wrestlers, only a junior. We're neutral here at 140 pounds. Single leg attempt by Sheasley. But it's Andy Gemberling that drives through and picks up a 2-point takedown. And also 2, possibly 3 back points. Sheasley able to roll through on that, but not without giving up a 3-point near fall to the defenders, Andy Gemberling. Sit out, turn in by Sheasley. He's moving on the bottom. Moving well so far. Gemberling working a half now. That's peeled off by Sheasley. Sheasley on his base, but his head is down. When your head's down, you're going to go down.
One of the things, sorry, Jeff, one of the things about Andy Gemberling, I noticed that he's very well built, but his arms seem to be very long, which is a real decided advantage for wrestlers. Those long arms, you can get in, you can throw cradle on takedowns, you can throw cradles, and he's a tall fella for a 140-pounder. A very well-rounded wrestler. Looks good on his feet, looks good on the mat.
Height gives him some real good leverage. Gemberling rides from the opposite side. Sheasley short sit turn in, and Gemberling almost catches him on that. Sheasley a little bit slow on that sit out, but able to come through and pick up the inside hip of Gemberling here with 35 seconds remaining. He does have, he is locked on the leg of Gemberling, but Gemberling still has control, but is very, very high. Sheasley trying to come out the back door basically here. If he can reach up and take the head. Gemberling in control and is going to give it up. 2-point reversal by John Sheasley of the Dragons.
So Sheasley kept fighting, able to come out and get the reversal with 16 seconds to go in the first period, trailing 5-2.
On the whistle, it'll be Gemberling standing, trying to peel the hand, rip, turn in, 1-point escape for Andy Gemberling. Neutral again. Gemberling out in front by a 6-2 score here in the 140-pound bout.
So Andy Gemberling leading here as we're ready to go to period number 2. He had his choice. He defers to Lewisburg's John Sheasley. Sheasley will start period 2 in the bottom position. And Andy Gemberling will be getting in on top as referee Ben Shipman ready to set the Lewisburg wrestler. Gemberling comes on top.
On the whistle, stand up by Sheasley, but Gemberling able to bring him back to the mat very quickly, working underneath, overstepping the leg. Sheasley trying to reach through, and as he does, he gives Gemberling an opening, lifted up his arm, and Gemberling put a half in right away, and will pick up 2 points in a near fall position here. Sheasley in a short sit, but is Gemberling working a tight waist, a bar arm on the right. Now reaches through. Sheasley able to come back to his knees, back to his base. Gemberling driving one-on-one underneath. Working. It's Gemberling trying to step up now into a cradle and a half, or now works on a half. Let's go of the half and goes to a reverse half, and Sheasley's in trouble with 1:30 or 1 minute remaining here. Gemberling working a pinning combination, gets too high. Going to give up a 2-point near fall, but as he gets too high, is Sheasley able to escape here in the second period. Bout score 11-3 here at 140. Back to the neutral position. Gemberling has been very aggressive, shooting for that pin. Getting a little bit high on it, though.
Really demonstrated how to put in a half Nelson on that last move, but his aggression got the best of him as Sheasley able to escape. Now Gemberling in on a takedown, goes right over into a pinning combination, a half Nelson with 25 seconds.
There's the fall with 24 seconds remaining. So at 1:40, the winner will be Andy Gimmerling for the Warrior Run Defenders.
And that fall at 1 minute and 36 seconds of the second period, that's going to boost that defender lead to 26-8 over the Green Dragons as we're going to 145 pounds. Now, for Warrior Run Defenders, a freshman, Todd Leidacker, and out on the mat for the Green Dragons, a senior, Corey Emery.
Okay, Corey Emery taken down very quickly by Todd Leidacker with a headlock, and it's going to show a 2-point takedown for Leidacker, but Corey Emery picks up a 1-point escape just as quickly. Leidacker in deep on a single, and it's Corey Emery trying to counter with a whizzer. Corey Emery uses that whizzer and steps out. Still neutral here.
Todd Leidacker, a freshman, not showing any respect for that upperclassman, that senior from Lewisburg. Corey Emery took him right down off the bat. Emery able to escape as they're still neutral with about 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the first period. Two well-built, strong wrestlers. I think we're going to see a lot of tossing and turning in this bout.
Corey Emery seems to be an upper body wrestler, so you're going to see some moves. They're power moves. Leidacker, only a freshman though, in deep on a single leg, but that sprawl back by Corey Emery is immense. What power he has in those hips.
And you can see how Emery is trying to set up a throw with his upper body strength as Leidacker comes in and goes for a takedown. Emery will be looking to toss him as he comes in.
Leidacker, the taller of the two wrestlers, and as he shoots in, it's Emery that's been able to counter those moves so far. Now it's Emery that was reaching in, underhook on the elbow. Todd Leidacker trying to work a quarter Nelson, is working a quarter Nelson on a series on the top, spins behind, 2-point takedown for the defender, freshman defender, Todd Leidacker.
I think Coach Wayne Smythe has to really be pleased with Leidacker's performance here in the first period.
Leidacker able to maintain control. Corey Emery for the Dragons moving nice on the bottom thus far, but right now he's flattened out by Todd Leidacker. Bout score 4-1 here in the early goings at 1:45. Tight waist by Leidacker. Emery trying to set up a roll underneath. Leidacker traps the leg, but the period ends here. The first period ends at 1:45.
A very surprising first period for that freshman, Todd Leidacker, able to get 2 takedowns, and he's leading 4-1 over a senior veteran for the Green Dragons, Corey Emery. Period number 2 starting with Leidacker in the bottom position. Emery now getting on top as referee Ben Shipman starts him off.
Coach Amman going to need some help right here. Emery not able to control Leidacker. Leidacker exploded on that whistle, stood up, turned in, picked up a 2-point reversal just about in about 8 seconds. Nice move by the freshman. Emery, though, trying to come back to his base. Tight waist by Leidacker. Emery working the wrists underneath, does have the wrist controlled. Emery trying to come up from his base. Leidacker using his hips in tight. Now hooking the arms. Emery to stand up. Reaches across for that wrist. He's trying to set up a roll, but he's broadcasting it, and Leidacker's just waiting for it. Broadcast that roll. Leidacker just looking for that roll. Emery turned right into it. Leidacker knew exactly what to do. Put on a half, picking up back points here with 1 minute remaining. Corey Emery for the Dragons in trouble. The young freshman here, Todd Leidacker, working on a pinning combination, has a cradle, and it's locked. There's the fall in the second period. It has to be a big upset, Bob.
It really is, and that brings Coach Wayne Smythe off his feet, gives his wrestler Todd Leidacker a big handshake. I think a major surprise, that freshman really wrestled like a senior. It looked like he had a lot of experience, but yet he's just a freshman for the Warrior Run Defenders, and he's going to push the team score out to a 32-8 advantage for Warrior Run. And Warrior Run's run up some big margins in their other dual meets.
And at 1:52, it's Joey Hill, another star performer for the Defenders. quickly picks up a 2-point takedown, but gives away a 1-point escape to Lewisburg's Eric Ferner.
I was going to say, Jeff Ferner won his first match. I think his record is 1-5 going tonight. He won against Jersey Shore right at the buzzer, but he's got to take on the Bald Eagle Nittany Christmas Tournament champion Joey Hill. He's a state qualifier from last year, an outstanding football player, and he's just well built and very rugged.
Hill was also picked as Athlete of the Week by the Daily Item in Sunbury, in football this past season. Hill working a head combination underneath there. Eric Fennick tries to work a barrel roll, but nothing going there as Joey Hill, a senior, trying to lock on a cradle, doesn't have, there's the 2-point control for a takedown.
I wouldn't be surprised if Joey Hill gets Athlete of the Week for wrestling as well, to go with the football honors. With under a minute to go in period number 1 as Ferner gets another escape, 4-2 at 152 pounds.
Okay, is Joey Hill thus far satisfied with getting 2 and giving 1. And with Eric Ferner with his head down, keeps snapping and going behind, another takedown. That's 3 takedowns here in the first period for Joey Hill, the defenders of Warrior Run. We're at 152. Sit through by Joey Hill. Hill has Ferner flat on the mat. That's just power. Now there's a one-on-one. I was trying to see what's keeping him down there. Joey Hill now comes up on a half as the buzzer rings here at the end of the first period.
So on the basis of 3 takedowns in the first 2 minutes, Joey Hill's leading Eric Ferner of Lewisburg 6-2. And period number 2 is going to start with Hill in the bottom position, Ferner on top with a tough task to ride out or to control Joey Hill for the defenders.
Thus far, Coach Smythe's wrestlers have been very quick on the whistle. Hill's no exception here. Stand up, turn in very quickly for reversal with just 5 seconds into this period at 152.
I think one of the things that's telling through this whole match is just the total domination, with the exception of one bout by the Warrior Run defenders on their feet scoring takedowns against Lewisburg.
A tight waist on the whistle by Hill. Ferner for the Dragons trying to peel that hand off the inside. Comes back to his base. Hill tries to sit through, pull him through and sit into a leg combination, and does. Comes up, works a quarter Nelson on the head, lets it go. Now riding with the leg ride, cross body ride, steps out of that, comes across for a bar arm. Official watching that as the arm came up behind the back of Eric Ferner as they go out of bounds with 1:24 remaining.
Jeff, if you look at this Warrior Run team, they're 4-0 in the season. They had a strong second-place finish at the Bald Eagle Nittany Christmas Tournament. They beat Montoursville 40-26, Sugar Valley 54-13, Southern Columbia 40-23, and Berwick 75-0. So this is a team that can score a lot of points in a dual meet.
They can score a lot of points, and they score them in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. Any team that comes up against the defenders is going to have a big, tough night.
And they go out of bounds with 1 minute to go. We're halfway through this bout at 152 pounds. Joey Hill, a senior, leading by an 8-3 margin.
Ferner for the Dragons. Hill deep on a double, picks and drops right to a pinning combination. It's going to be at least a 5-point move for Joey Hill. There's the fall.
At 1 minute and 13 seconds of the second period, Joey Hill with a fall for Warrior Run, as they've had now 3 falls in a row, pushing the team score Warrior Run 38 and Lewisburg 8, as we're ready to go to 162 pounds coming out on the mat for the defenders, who are on our right as you look at them. That's Andy Kaiser, a senior, and he's going to be wrestling a junior for the defenders on the left. That's Chad Eberhardt.
Okay, Eberhardt in the green. Kaiser for Warrior Run, picking up a 2-point takedown very quickly. Snap down, spin behind by Kaiser. They go out of bounds here in the 160-pound bout.
Now, Eberhardt's a real tall fella for 160 pounds. has a size advantage in terms of height over Andy Kaiser. Kaiser a little better built across the shoulders.
Okay, on the whistle, Eberhardt tries to stand and turn in. Kaiser right with him and tries to reach through with a half. Kaiser trying to come back, or Kaiser working an inside cradle, not able to, now reaches up. Cradle's not locked, but just drives right through on it, inside crotch and half. Kaiser's very strong. Now let's go. That reaches in for a half Nelson. They're near the out of bounds. Eberhardt able to come back to his base. Kaiser trying to keep him in bounds and literally just does that. Eberhardt for the Dragons trying to stay out of trouble here, stay off his back, and we're going to have a 2-point near fall awarded to Andy Kaiser as part of that pinning combination.
This match tonight between Lewisburg and Warrior Run is the first match in the Central Susquehanna Conference for both teams. A lot of teams and a lot of coaches in the preseason did pick Warrior Run to be the league favorite, given the fact they have so many outstanding starters coming back from last year's very successful team. And I think we're seeing, Jeff, tonight why many coaches feel Warrior Run is the team to beat in the Central Susquehanna Conference.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Not only do they have a very strong nucleus of kids that are seniors, they have some, I'm not sure how many freshmen
Two
they
freshmen
have in the lineup tonight. They have a very well-rounded program. Year after year here, you're going to see a couple good teams from Coach Smythe and the Warrior Run defenders.
And just when somebody from Warrior Run graduates, they bring a Todd Leidecker, who's a freshman, who comes up and gets a second period fall against a senior for Lewisburg. So this is a good, talented program top to bottom at Warrior Run that Wayne Smythe has built up over his 21 years, as Andy Kaiser controlling the action with 20 seconds to go here in period number 1, 160 pounds.
Kaiser has been controlling well so far. It's a much more committed kind of match. He's not just going helter-skelter. A lot of confidence. He's riding well, riding tight.
Yeah. Much more deliberate in his approach. I think some of the other defenders are aggressive and fast. He just takes his time and deliberate in what he does, but he's very strong, which makes his deliberate moves very powerful ones.
Okay, Kaiser allowed Chad Eberhardt to stand up and turn in. As he does so, going to lose a 1 point to Eberhardt for an escape at the end of the first period.
Welcome to the Dutch Pantry in Danville. Come and celebrate our 20th anniversary. Our senior citizens menu is an added feature along with our famous ham and bean soup. Courteous customer
Wrestler now tries to put the legs in. Eberhardt only down in this bout, scored by a 4-1 margin. But Kaiser able to peel the hands, peel the wrist, pick up a 1 point escape for Andy Kaiser. We're neutral here in the second period at 160. Bout score is 5-1 in favor of senior Andy Kaiser for the defenders.
The defenders in their starting lineup, Jeff, have 5 seniors, 2 juniors, I believe 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen. So they have 5 seniors to lead them, very talented ones, but a nucleus of underclassmen as well. And they're out of bounds.
Kaiser, before going out of bounds, had a snap down and spin behind. Nice move by Kaiser. Picks up a 2 point takedown there. You are correct. They have a wonderful team here. The depth, grade-wise, the experience of the seniors or the older classmen just feeds itself on these younger boys.
And of course, it doesn't hurt to have a sophomore defending state champion in Jason Betts to start you off in the light weights as well.
Yes, you don't have to be a senior to have experience, and young Jason Betts is a beautiful example of that. We're going to have a stand-up turn in by Eberhardt. of the Dragons to pick up his second bout point. Thus far, Eberhardt was only able to pick up 2 points, 1 each on escapes. The bout pretty much has been in control by the senior, Andy Kaiser.
Although just before they went out of bounds, Eberhardt did go in for a double leg. They went off the bat as he made a real good attempt at a takedown, but it's a 7-2 margin in favor of Andy Kaiser.
Deep on a single leg is Kaiser, but cross-face counter by Eberhardt. Now Kaiser goes to a Navy ride and does pick up a 2-point takedown. Nice move by Kaiser. Able to step through, go to a Navy, then drop him down. Kaiser on top, working one-on-one on both arms. Now one-on-one and inside crotch. We're nearing the end of the second period here, with a bout score of 9-2 in favor of Andy Kaiser of the defenders.
And Lewisburg's Eberhardt going to take the bottom position to start period number 3. Jeff, we have a real nice crowd here, but it's been a quiet crowd in Warrior Run High School tonight. Their defenders are ahead by a comfortable lead, but a big crowd here to watch their defenders. I think when some of the other teams come, Central Columbia is going to have a good team. That Central Columbia Warrior Run bout ought to be a real dandy.
Kaiser just basically pushing Eberhardt away for a 1-point escape. So he's been comfortable getting the takedowns, and he's going to do it again right there. Eberhardt's problem thus far is on his takedowns. He's been reaching out for them, and Kaiser with the strength able to snap and spin behind. Eberhardt now, though, is deep on a single leg. Kaiser is trying to work a windmill, trying to counter. They're near the out of bounds. The official indicating there's going to be a 1-point escape awarded to Chad Eberhardt.
So far in this bout, Kaiser 4 takedowns, 1 near fall combination for 2 points and an escape, and Chad Eberhardt 4 escapes with 1:22 to go in period number 3. As Eberhardt now in trying a double leg, goes to a single. Kaiser on top, pressing down in the head.
Kaiser has just been following the same strategy all along. Eberhardt is, he's been a game wrestler out there. He's down in the bout, but he's been wrestling well. He is a junior for Coach Greg Amon, and very close call, but supporting points of the wrestlers were out of bounds, and official not giving control for Chad Eberhardt. Eberhardt doing a nice job staying in the bout. He's certainly has not been stalling by any means. Very aggressive as far as that goes. Coach Amon should be pleased. It's Eberhardt in deep on a single leg, snaps it through, and is going to pick up a 2-point takedown. Kaiser in the down position here, but out in front by an 11-6 score here in the third period at 160. Chad Eberhardt working a crossbody ride in the face. Now reaches up. Andy Kaiser for the defenders in the down position, but out in front in this bout. Chad Eberhardt working ahead, now steps in. There's a crossbody ride again, working ahead, trying to hook an arm, pull that back with just 10 seconds. Kaiser not moving underneath. It looked, Bob, that he may have been hurt on that takedown, but has continued to wrestle so far. Chad Eberhardt now trying to work a pinning combination.
But that final buzzer at 160 pounds, so a little bit too little too late for Chad Eberhardt from Lewisburg, as he's going to be defeated by Andy Kaiser by an 11-6 margin, but he was game right to the end as we're going to go to 171 pounds. This is going to be the 11th bout out of 13 bouts in a high school dual meet at 171 pounds. Coming out for the defenders of Warrior Run will be senior Brian Hunter. And coming out for Lewisburg, Jason Wenrick, a tall fellow for the Green Dragons. Actually, 2 fellows evenly sized at 171 pounds, both tall.
Hunter's actually probably giving a little bit of weight away here. I didn't check his weight, but I've seen him listed wrestling at 160 once or twice this year. So he is able, with his height, able to give up a little bit of weight. Hunter's a senior, has been around a while, according to Coach Smythe, and feels comfortable moving up and down in the light-up. It's Brian Hunter with a single leg, and he's trying to trip back and does pick up a 2-point takedown over Jason Wenrick of the Dragons. Wenrick is a junior wrestling for first-year coach Amon. And Brian Hunter, as they come back to the center of the mat, will be on top, leading in the first period here at 171, 2-0.
And that team score, as we're in the final 3 bouts, is 41-8 in favor of Warrior Run. And we know at the next bout, 189 pounds, Josh Leach for the defenders will get a forfeit, so that would even put the margin even higher.
Okay, Brian Hunter with a tight waist near side, deep knee ride, working underneath. Jason Wenrick, though, just trying to hook on that arm. We saw this once before this evening where that kind of backfired. Wenrick tried earlier in one of the Lewisburg wrestlers trying to hook, broadcast a roll, and stepped into a pinning combination for the defenders. Brian Hunter on top here. Wenrick, a junior. Brian Hunter now has the wing on the left side. Chicken wing on the left, bar on the right. But Wenrick able to pop them out and free his arms.
And of course, Brian Hunter is going to try and keep Jason Wenrick for Lewisburg flat on his belly and work pinning combination. He's got a 1 bar on the left side and trying to reach around toward the right side as Wenrick trying to get up to his base with 20 seconds to go in period number 1.
Hunter riding very aggressively, is working to a pin. Wenrick able to pretty much stay out of trouble, hips back into Hunter. Now that I'm watching, I can clearly see Hunter's giving away a little bit of weight in this bout at 171.
So period number 1 is going to come to an end at 171 pounds with Brian Hunter with a 2-0 lead. He has his choice. He defers to Jason Wenrick. Wenrick is going to take the neutral position as they're going to both start in the neutral position with the second period beginning.
Okay, on the whistle, touch on the head by Hunter. A little bit of dancing here. Just a half attempt by Wenrick on a, there deep on a single is Hunter. Very similar to his 2-point takedown in the first period, a single leg pickup. But this time Wenrick has the leg hooked in between. Hunter steps out of that, trying to step across, reaches up for the head. As he does, Wenrick comes around behind and takes Hunter down for a 2-point takedown. Apparently wise move by the Lewisburg wrestler to go neutral here to begin the second period. Bout's tied up, Bob.
As we've watched Lewisburg this year in the dual meets that we've televised on CCN, one of the things about Lewisburg, they are a lot of counter wrestlers. They'll look for weaknesses, and that's exactly what Wenrick did as Hunter was in, but Wenrick able to turn it around as he's trying to ride here with 1:21 to go in period number 2 at 171.
Brian Hunter underneath in a short sit position, trying to reach under and lift Wenrick's hip up. Wenrick, though, underneath with 101s, also almost like in a crab ride, and able to control the left arm of Hunter with just 60 seconds remaining. Hunter now tries to step back over the legs of Wenrick. But Wenrick pretty tall himself and not going to give up too much leverage there as he comes around behind. Now it's Hunter that's hooked on the arm, trying to set a Peterson roll-up. It's Hunter underneath that has purchased the wrist, and Wenrick able to bring him back to his side. Wenrick, a real nice tall wrestler for the Dragons.
Using his legs effectively, he was until now, as Hunter able to spin out, trying to get to a neutral position, and there's the escape call. 1 point awarded to Hunter. 3-2 with 20 seconds to go in period number 2.
They're nearly out of bounds. We're back to a neutral position here in the second period.
Just as we thought, Wenrick was using his legs effectively to control Brian Hunter. He gets a little too high, and Hunter able to come out and take a 1-point lead with 14 seconds in period 2 remaining.
Hunter, tap on the head, single leg attempt, picks it up, right back to the same move, steps across to a double. 4 seconds, 2 point, no, not
no
yet.
Points yet.
No points awarded, and that's because there was a whizzer in on the left side.
Jason
Official
Wenrick
was correct.
able to put that arm in and keep from getting taken down, as period number 3 is going to start with Brian Hunter having his choice of positions. He was going to go in the defensive position, clinging to a 1-point lead in the final 2 minutes at 171 pounds.
Real nice defensive move by Jason Wenrick. Reached back and put a whizzer in, which is a counter for a double. You don't see it a whole lot anymore, but definitely knew what he was doing. Short sit turn in by Hunter. Hunter on the bottom. Cradle locked up by Wenrick. Cradle real loose, though. Very loose cradle.
Still has it, though. It's now broken.
Now broke the cradle. Hunter on his base, sits back into Wenrick. Wenrick reaches up, trying to work the head. Body scissors, and they go out of bounds with 1:30 remaining here in the third period at 171.
Jason Wenrick knows what he's got to do to win this bout. He's going to have to get near fall points. He's trailing by 1 point from the top position. The only way he can score is through near fall points.
On the whistle, stand up, sit back by Hunter for the defenders. Wenrick right with him, though. Wenrick real lengthy, sticks the legs in. Wenrick a little bit high. Hunter able to purchase that elbow, pull down on the elbow, but Wenrick still working the legs on the inside. Wenrick getting a little bit high. Hunter able to belly down to his base, and because of that, we're going to have a deadlock where neither one is able to improve their position. Stalemate. Was a stalemate there.
Yep.
Stand on the whistle, turn in by Hunter. Hook on the arm. Wenrick on the top here in the third period, but down and about. He's going to have to go for back points. Hunter, though, needs to keep working. Hunter now being caught in a... Wenrick is very high. Hunter's going to come out the back door. Jason Wenrick going to give up a 2-point reversal here.
30 seconds remaining and a 5-2 margin for Brian Hunter.
Wenrick knew he had to go for that pinning combination. It just was too loose. Brian Hunter, a senior, could feel it and just came out the back door for a 2-point reversal. Nice move by the senior. Stand up, reach back, whizzer attempt. He's reaching back for that whizzer as Jason Wenrick as they go out of bounds with just 10 seconds.
No, that's Jason Wenrick tried to give it his all to go for the near fall points to win the match and just got a little too high and was reversed. A 5-2 lead here for Brian Hunter with just 10 seconds remaining.
Hunter on the whistle, lets Wenrick stand up, turn in, but does come around nicely behind him, controlling with 5 seconds. Granby roll by Wenrick. We're going to have a 2-point reversal at the buzzer, but that will not be enough.
So it's going to be a 5-4 decision as Brian Hunter literally hangs on to the win, 5-4 over Lewisburg's Jason Wenrick. Going to make the team score Warrior Run 44 and Lewisburg 8. A real game and exciting match at 171 pounds, Jeff.
Yes, it is. Now at 189, I don't believe that the Green Dragons are going to have a man to put on the mat.
And that's Josh Leach for Warrior Run Defenders, raising his hand, getting his hand raised by the referee for a forfeit, pushing the team score to 50-8 as we're going to the heavyweight bout. This should be a dandy. For Lewisburg, out there is going to be Andy Keister. For the defenders, Ken Hamp.
Both of these boys are pinners and have pinned.
Yep, they sure have.
It may be that for Lewisburg, the match is over, but this bout is not over.
No, I think
Andy Keister for the Dragons wants to get a little bit of vengeance here.
He did that last week when the Green Dragons wrestled Jersey Shore. He got a first period pin, even though his team was trailing him by about 51-12 at the time. So he's an aggressive fella, and you can see it right now. He's getting the crowd a little excited here.
That's the most noise we've heard this evening. Both boys are sophomores. Ken Hemp as Andy Keister trying to come up and use a bear hug. Andy Keister, much to the displeasure of the crowd, very aggressive. Keister, a sophomore. We're neutral here in the first period in the heavyweight bout. Team score is out of reach for Lewisburg.
But Andy Keister really doesn't care about that at this point. He wants a win, and so does Ken Hamp.
Ken Hemp for the defenders. Works an arm drag, able to purchase that arm. Keister counters with underhooks and tries to bring him back in. They go out of bounds.
Looking for the old bear hug on that one was Andy Keister, as they're out of bounds for about the 5th time here with 1:15 remaining in the first period at the final heavyweight bout.
This looks like one of those bouts when you have the takedown, it's almost going to have the pin. Both boys are well over 230 pounds.
And let's see who's going to get warned. It's going to be Ken Hamp. He's going to be warned for stalling. He hasn't really attempted a takedown, and he's been pushed by Andy Keister, so a warning for stalling.
Hemp is going to have to drop down to a single or a double as Keister's pushing in, but by the same token, Keister's going to have to also work a pinning combination. He just can't drive the wrestler off the mat.
That's exactly right. He's doing all the pushing, but not much of a takedown attempt so far as they're going back to the center mat now. Keister gets a little excited.
Keister trying to work a headlock in the out of bounds.
And the crowd really
needs to maybe talk to both boys and make sure they understand this is just their bout, just their wrestling match. Get out there and wrestle. Now it's Ken Hemp who's driving in against Keister for the Dragons. Keister in underhooks. You can tell what Keister wants to do.
Out of bounds one more time. 26 seconds remaining as they go back in. And the Lewisburg coach is exhorting Andy Keister to go underneath as well, under Ken Hamp's arms for a takedown, for a double or single. He hasn't done that so far.
Okay, no score here in the first period in the heavyweight bout. Head and elbow tie-up with 15 seconds remaining. Head drag attempt by Ken Hemp of the defenders, but so near the out of bounds that I'm not sure they really wanted it. Now they're in the center. They got to stay in the center. Head and elbow tie-up. Nice little arm drag by Ken Hemp. As he does, though, he reaches up and allows Keister to come underneath. As Keister lifts and at the buzzer.
No takedown.
No takedown.
As I think Keister got a little frustrated there, and Hemp just pushed into him as Keister trying for a throw, but a bear hug. Now, in the second period as we go, Ken Hamp had his choice. He deferred to Andy Keister. Lewisburg will start in the bottom position here for the second 2-minute period. No score at the heavyweight bout.
Okay, it is Ken Hemp for the defenders, rides from the opposite side. A real nice tight waist near arm by Ken Hemp. Now inside the crotch, still working. Hemp using his hips very nicely. Hemp doing a nice job trying to keep Keister off his base. Keister trying to work back up, not able to do so. Ken Hemp for the defenders. It lets Andy Keister stand up. Back heel drop by Ken Hemp. Nice move by the sophomore. These are two big boys.
And this could come down to a matter of conditioning, as they're both expending a lot of energy here at heavyweight.
Keister seemed to be the more aggressive wrestler in the first period, but may have been using up some of that energy, Bob.
And I think that also, Jeff, Hemp is a better wrestler on the mat, as he's shown it here in the first 40 seconds of second period by riding and controlling. I think he's got better wrestling skills, but I think the edge and strength may go to Keister. So it's a nice matchup, a wrestler and a strong fella. So we'll see what happens.
Hemp working underneath has Keister flat again. Keister not able to come up to his base, now does. Hemp up on his feet, trying to keep the hips in tight, making Keister keep it and carry his weight, which is really Hemp's best bet here. Hemp reaches up over the arm, working a tight waist. Keister for the Dragons. Hemp drives in, working a pinning combination. Ken Hemp, the sophomore, for a Warrior Run, working on a pinning combination, 45 seconds. The shoulders are in bounds, Bob. This is going to count.
And it's looking very close. A good move by Ken Hamp as Keister fighting, but it's very close to a fall.
Ken Hemp working ahead, trying to hit blows. Got it. There's the fall. The fall is going to go to Ken Hemp of Warrior Run here in the final bout this evening.
At 1 minute and 30 seconds of that second period, a good move by Ken Hemp for the defenders, and he's the winner, pushing that final team score. Warrior Run defenders under Coach Wayne Smythe, 56, and the Green Dragons of Lewisburg, 8. We'll be back after these announcements. Jeff Bracetta, this is Bob Buhner. where tonight the final score, Warrior Run 56, Lewisburg 8.